video, we're going to be talking about the Navy Federal Auto Loan process. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Tasha from the Major Change Group, where we believe small changes can create big results. And if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. We talk about how to get your money straight, how to increase your credit score, and how to use your credit card like a debit card. If you're in the process of getting your auto loan through Navy Federal, you have three options. One, you can go onto the website and complete the application process there. You can go through the app, or you can call Navy Federal up and speak with the live agent. Now, I called Navy Federal up and it only took about 20 to 30 minutes. I would say it's a really easy process. Now, they are going to be pulling your TransUnion credit score and credit report, and it's going to be a hard pull. Some of the questions that they're going to ask you first is, how much is your monthly income and what is your rent or mortgage? So I would say that we want to make sure that we're providing information. If they ask us for documentation, we could give them. But on the same hand, we know that they have access to our accounts. So they should be able to see our accounts in good standings. Are we doing direct deposits and things like that? Now, they didn't ask me for any of that information, but you want to make sure you can provide it just in case, because we never know. Next, they're going to ask, do you have a car in mind? Do you want it to be new or used? How much do you want your loan to be for? Are you going to have a cosigner? And do you want gap insurance? Now, while I had a few cars in mind, I didn't know which one that I wanted, but I did know that I only wanted my loan to be $20,000. I didn't want it to be more than that. And I ended up getting gap insurance. So my loan ended up being $20,299 for 60 months with a 2.19% interest rate. Now, when we get the check, they state that you cannot go over what's on the check. You cannot exceed that amount. But if you need to, let's say you find another car and it's for more, you can always call Navy Federal up and you can get another check. But it's possible that it can be some additional reviews and things like that. And you have 90 days to be able to use that check. So that's more than enough time to be able to find a car. When I started my process, I started on a Friday, and they actually had put me under review, and I didn't get approved until that Saturday. But she did let me know that they were going to certify mail me the check. So I was pretty much figuring that I would get approved. But the main thing for me was, how much was my interest rate going to be? Because I knew that my check was going to be for $20,000. And at the time, while I thought my credit report and my credit score was saying that I had over 700, my credit score was only like 681 once they had sent me my letter in the mail. So I was like, whoa, once I had got that letter and saw that my credit score was only a 681, I was so surprised that I was able to get an interest rate of 2.19. But I'm very excited about it. And I think that that's the most important thing with going with the credit union. Even if you don't go with Navy Federal, I feel like they have better interest rates. And especially like now with the interest rates, I think for 60 months, it's like 4.54% compared to when I got it, it was 2.19%. And if you was actually to get financing through the dealership, ain't no telling how much the interest rate would be. So I would tell anybody to use a credit union over going to the dealership. Now, this takes me to when you actually go to the dealership. Now, when I went, I test drove a few cars and then I let the dealer know that I had a check. But the main thing is not to let them run your credit because you have the check. So you have all the power, you have the check. Do not let them run your credit because you're not going to be doing financing through the dealership. Now, my dealer, he was really nice. So he wasn't trying to say, you have to do financing, and he wasn't, running my credit or anything. But I would say that's the main thing, not to let them run your credit. And then when I was looking at cars and stuff, I had overheard my dealer talking to another guy in regards to a trade-in. So originally, I wasn't going to do a trade-in because I still had my old car and I owed maybe like $3,000 on it. But I wasn't really thinking that I was going to do a trade-in. And then once I overheard him stating, well, yeah, you can bring it in however you can get it. whatever, we can, see how much we can give you. So once we started the process of the negotiation, I was like, okay, I have this car and I only had maybe like 68,000 miles on it, and it was a 2013. And so they ended up giving me like $5,500 for the car. So I was pretty excited about that. But overall, if you have a car, you can do a trade-in and they'll just take it off of whatever you negotiate. Now, one question that I get a lot is, once you get your check, it states that you cannot exceed the amount on the check. But what happens if you find a car that's more than your check or less than your check? So if you find a car that's more than your check, either at that point you can put a down payment, let's say for myself, because I did not want to exceed $20,000, or you can call Navy Federal up and state, I found another car, and possibly have to go through another process to get another check certified mailed to you. Now, if you find a car that's under the amount, I would say that's going to be the best thing. They're only going to finance the car for whatever the final number is from your negotiation. So I had my check for $20,000, and I was really hoping that I found a car that was going to be under. And so let's say if I found a car that was for $18,000, then once I went to accounting and they called Navy Federal, my auto loan was only going to be for $18,000. So I think that that's really good. Once you have the check from Navy Federal, you have so many options to where as long as you don't exceed that amount, you're good. But if you do exceed that amount and you want to put money down because let's say you don't want to finance, a large amount, then you have that option as well. Once we actually finished the negotiation on the car, we ended up going down to accounting, and this process was so easy. Basically, all they're going to do is call Navy Federal up with the check, and then they're going to be telling them, okay, here's the VIN number, here's how much the car was for, and they're going to be giving them all the details on the car, and you don't have to do anything. You don't even talk to Navy Federal at that point. Once I had did my original pre-approved process, I did not talk to an actual agent after that. Once the dealer had finished with talking with Navy Federal, then a couple of days later, I got an email from Navy Federal telling me to go into the app and complete the promissory note. And then that's what I did. And so they let me know my loan was for $20,299 because I ended up getting gap insurance, and my interest rate was for 2.19% at 60 months. Now, the only thing is that I ended up paying my car off in 1 year. And so really, I could have got the auto loan for 30 months and got a 1.79% interest rate. But overall, I don't even think I ended up paying over maybe like $340 for interest for the whole loan. So that wasn't even one car note. So I was still glad about that. But I'll say the Navy Federal auto loan process is so easy. Once you call Navy Federal up, you can ask them any questions that you have. But once you get that check, you have so many options to where, hopefully, possibly you can get a car where it's under. But when you have the check, then I feel like you have more power when you're negotiating. Now, originally, I had went to the Mazda dealership and they don't negotiate. And so I ended up going to the Hyundai dealership, and then they were able to negotiate. So you'll have to consider which dealership that you want to go to. And you can also go to private dealerships, but you'll have to let Navy Federal know that on the front end because I believe that it's a different check. So you want to make sure that you provide them with the most accurate information when you are starting that pre-approved process. But all in all, I'm telling you, it's an easy process, and I am so glad that I did it. But I would say if you can do your auto loan with the credit union in general, you're going to get the most bang for your interest rate, I believe. Well, I hope that you found this helpful. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, turn your notification bell on so you will be notified when new content drops. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time. It's not a game, it's a